Lord, Yemi Hawaba, Shemi Yahushua, double honors to the apostles and others of great millstone will rule all over the flock. Shalom, salutation, new brothers out here pushing words of truth and sincerity. And shalom, and salutation to all you brothers and sisters listening. All right, 12 tribes of Israel, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans. These are the end days, these are the end times. One thing you have to consider, one thing I love to consider is what separates us from the rest of these people who don't believe, right? Sometimes you need to know, like, to the extent in which the Lord has control over you and what he's doing to you, for you to, that has to be emphasized for you to feel good, feel some type of decency about yourself. Now you can understand, like, it's not a negativity that you're not identical to the people out here. You're not, to your peers out here. The believers is always going to have a difference, but the Most High Yahweh created those differences in the first place. 1 Samuel 18:14, and David behaved himself wisely in all his ways, and the Lord was with him. You're talking about the Lord being with you, right? I'm talking about a difference between how David was handling himself versus how Saul was. Where did that come from? And the Lord was with him. So when the Lord is with you, he gives you a certain spirit over your enemies and adversaries that gives you all the advantage. And David behaved himself wisely in all his ways. That means the Most High, because he was dealing with David, he worked in his spirit so that he couldn't make incorrect decisions over and over again. He had complete control over where to move David to make him make the right decisions every time. It says, wherefore, when Saul saw that he behaved himself very wisely, he was afraid of him. Now, you watch somebody out here in this world, you might pay keen, close attention to him, and the next thing you know, you can see how they move, right? You can see if they making all the right moves, wrong moves. You can see if they concentrating. You can see if they got malintent. You can see if they got sneaky, cunning, slick ways. Even in New York, they say they watching how you move. You move different. If you coming from out of town, they're gonna say he moved different. Or sort of sneaky ways about you, whatever. That's how Saul was watching David. And Saul realized David was moving wise as hell. Every move he made, wise. So you can imagine, Saul was seeking for David's life. So this was no friendly, just, you bump into somebody. They were complete ops at that time. And Saul's watching David, noticing David moving very wise. And it made him afraid. So putting yourself into the scriptures, imagining what it was like for you to have an op of your own nation, and y'all both kings headed for, the Lord's, you next up, but you got respect for the king that's there now, Saul, and you David. And here it is, the Lord just control. He working with you. So every move you make in the eyes of David is a good one. It's like playing chess, and your competitor is a genius. And every move he makes is a good one. You start to say, damn, this dude got that touch. But that's what it was like for the elect. I mean, that's what it was like for David and them. That's what it's like for men who the Lord is dealing with you. And that's what it's going to be like for the elect. Same way. The moves that we make are going to be the right moves every time. Eventually. Right? But even up until now, think about it. When's the last time you got locked up? If you really in this truth, pushing it, going hard, believing on it, and being edified by the words you hear, and practicing, rehearsing the righteous acts, when the last time you got really sick, like more than 3 times in a year? If you've been eating the right type of foods, when the last time you really got sick like that? You could throw in when the last time you got locked up, right? Like how often do you get fired? Is that a yearly thing? You might keep your job longer. There's a lot of benefit. It's almost like we made, through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahshua, starting with our apostles, we made so many right decisions repeatedly that we still here, facing adversity, but not worried, not shook, or believe that the Lord is watching over us and directing us. Job 5:27. Lo, this we have searched it, so it is. Hear it, and know thou it for thy good. That's His word. That's His spirit that's out here now, giving brothers, encouraging us to continue to walk in the things we know. It's very edifying to meet a brother that has this same amount of lessons in care and concern for the world and for the flock, for the words, Salakia, and for the flock. You know, these are some of the benefits of being in this truth. You get to meet others with the same type of passion. Let's see here. Yep. So now we understand here, Psalms 37:30, the mouth of the righteous speaketh wisdom, and the tongue talketh of judgment. Now you understand how it is that the Lord can take a man who knows nothing, has nothing, and give him something like this word. 1 Corinthians 1:22, 1:23. But we preach Yahweh crucified. Unto the Jews a stumbling block, unto the Greeks foolishness. Hey, you have Jews and Greeks vocab. Here you have Jews and Greeks together hearing the words of the Lord, both denying it. The Greeks denying it because they stumble. Something that they stumbling at. A part of the doctrine that they stumbled at when Paul spoke. And then you have the Jews denying it. It's like the stumbling block for the Jews and the foolishness for Greeks. The Greeks just considered it madness, right? And so you got two Israelitish, right? People of Israelite descent, the Jews and the Greeks of that time, and both not hearing the words of the Lord. However, verse 25, because the foolishness of Yahweh is wiser than men. So now we dealing with the foolishness of the Lord. The same thing that they consider foolish is wiser than them. So your average American, your average citizen, your average friend, family member, friend, they're not just going to be able to pick up on the Bible because it's foolishness to them, even when we break it down. Remember, this is the Bible that they all love. They just don't want to hear what's in it. The shell and the cover of it, man, it gets the top space on the mantle. You know, they'll take the book and throw it in the back of their car and put it right there in the back window. But to go in and delve inside and see what it says in there and then get taught about thermonuclear missiles, taught about RFID chips, that the Bible, prophesied of these things to come in these days. That warning, they're not going to hear it. Because the foolishness of Yahweh is wiser than men. So there's wisdom right there. There's wisdom to beat men. There's a wisdom that's higher than men. Man's wisdom. That's the wisdom of this truth being pushed out. The wisdom that's higher than man's wisdom, this truth. And so, you walk around here in this society and a lot of people pride themselves of what they have and how much they have and everything worldly. That's all that is. That's man's wisdom. Man's wisdom in man's mind. It's important to have $250,000 by the time you are 30 years old. So you can have 50 million by the time you're 50. It's important this is man's wisdom. Man's wisdom will tell you, go get your degree, go get, and then you become a doctor. And then you start an LLC and then you can use that to pay your taxes and things, you build a portfolio, real estate, and then you go into stocks and bonds. And see, that's man's wisdom. That's where it stops. The invention of aircraft, the invention of disease, the invention of DNA editing, the invention of technology, weaponry, and that's as far as man's wisdom goes. Just like Esau, his job is to take peace from the earth, and he did that through his blessing, which was the sword. That's as high as the wisdom goes, creating weapons and to destroy. But Yahweh's wisdom is higher than that, and that's what he's given us.